So I think that we're seeing, Xi Jinping just believing that all he needs to do is do more of what he believes is right, even though just about everybody else on the planet can see that this is a great mistake. And this really is the weakness of one-man systems. And if we need any sort of affirmation of this, we can see what's happening in Russia, where Putin gets to do what he wants and he's creating one debacle after another. Well, that's China as well.
Who do you think might be the next Chinese premier?
I'm sure we're not going to see anyone who is an obvious successor. It's going to be Xi Jinping and four or six non-entities.
There are many analysts who simply say that Xi Jinping wouldn't attack Taiwan because they wouldn't want to have a war with the US. What do you believe?
We can see that Xi Jinping is implementing the largest military buildup since the Second World War, but he's also, and this is more ominous, he is mobilizing China's civilians for battle. And this means that he has a shorter time frame than most people think. This may not be just a question of Xi Jinping waking up one morning and saying, oh, now we're invading Taiwan. What could happen is we have seen these extremely dangerous intercepts in the global commons as China challenges planes and ships. And one of those could actually end up in a crisis, which could devolve into some sort of invasion of neighbors, including Taiwan. What we can say about time frame is that as China prepares and gets ready for war, we have to be prepared as well. It could be during his third term, could be during his fourth term, could be anytime. But the point is, when your adversary, your enemy, gets ready for battle, you do as well.
Do you believe China might use nuclear weapons or threaten to use nuclear weapons against Taiwan?
China has been threatening the use of nuclear weapons, and this has been frightening. So you go back to July of last year, China threatened to obliterate Tokyo because of its express support for Taiwan. On March 10th of this year, the Chinese military promised quote unquote worst consequences for countries coming to the aid of Taiwan. Um, we have heard over the course of decades China make threats for the first use of nuclear weapons over Taiwan and others. So we just have to take the Chinese at their word. Of course, they can be bluffing, but we can't assume that. They have a nuclear doctrine, which looks like it includes the first strike of nukes. And, a lot of people say, well, it would be very difficult for China to take Taiwan because it would involve a combined land, air, sea attack. But that assumes that China doesn't use nuclear weapons on the first day. I think that their doctrine is to use their most destructive weapons, and we have to have plans to take that into account.